Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me with this Sacred Feminine channel for this very intense new moon's partial solar eclipse in Aries that we have coming up. Today is Friday, March 28th, 2025. And so, as we have been feeling this energy quite intensely in so many different ways, it's really bringing the attention of, I would say, more of the shadow or the old that is just really presenting itself in different ways, in different situations. And these are patterns that have been running deep within you that are being reflected to you in different relationships. And this can be in relationship with people, with money. These are like the primary areas that I'm seeing these patterns emerge from. And I am Tamara Jean. I just like dove straight in. If you're new here to my content, I am a spiritual awakening mentor and a wellness astrologer, health and wellness using your astrology, here on High Vibe TV. So just so much, there's just so much information that has been coming through as I've been tuning in to it more and more as we are now, right, on the precipice of this new moon partial solar eclipse. And this is Inner Lotus music that I have. And I was really drawn to it because it is encoded with 963 hertz, which assists, of course, in connecting with, it's a God frequency. So connecting with higher planes of consciousness, with your higher self. And I would say to the divine within you, the God within you. And it's really been just coming through. I mean, I talk so much about your power and connecting with your soul, and that in the divine power within you, the soul's intelligence, right? I talk a lot about that, and one of the main is the main thing that I mentor people with. And just today, when I was tuning in, it was definitely an activation of God intelligence within your soul. And that's what I feel with that is deeply like the eclipse, of course, is going to be a shedding, right? A shedding of old patterns, especially karmic ones, and like these loops, right, that have been looping for however long. Old version of yourself that would include like timelines collapsing that correspond to those patterns, issues, the version of you, right? So a lot is happening. That's why we're all very tired, right? Probably, just feeling like you could sleep, right? Or because too, you're not sleeping, and just even if you got sleep, not completely recharged and refreshed, right? Very fatigued because the body is going through so much, and with these energetic shifts that are taking place, and that you are, as you know, a multi-dimensional being, and more of that awareness, those higher dimensional aspects of your consciousness are integrating into your conscious awareness. And I feel that deep activation. So as much as the shedding as is becoming with this new moon solar eclipse, right? It is especially of course in Aries, that it's like that opportunity of reset, right? And a redirect, a new direction. And I'll go into the, some aspects of the current human design transit and the planets that, to help kind of navigate this energy. And the, so kind of that new, like, and being given the opportunity to really launch yourself. How blue that got all of a sudden. So, well, it is how it likes to express itself. And so this felt very appropriate in that there is a connection to your higher planes of consciousness, to the higher dimensional aspects, connection with your higher self, and all of that, right, in process of integration with everything that is happening. The sun is finishing in the gate of the following, gate 17, and that's in the mind center, right? So this is, right, it's been illuminating a broad spectrum of points of view and ideas and seeing things, right? Perceiving things differently, I would say. And it's going to move into, so the sun will be there in gate 17 in the mind during the new moon eclipse, right? So kind of opening up. And remember, Aries does rule the eyes too, right? It rules the head, our brain, all the cranial nerves, right? So we are beginning to perceive things in a different way, and to the point to where you may actually visually start to see things differently. And on Sunday, it's going to move into gate 21, which is that gate of control, right? Venus had been there just a little while ago. And so in really being able to see the value in energy, I want to say this is like in controlling your energy, and it's going to be grounded in the earth in gate 48 in the spleen, which is the gate of the well, right? In that deeper knowledge within you, your own resourcefulness. And with that, so Uranus has moved into gate 8, still in the throat center, but now it's in gate 8, as that is the gate of contribution. And so it's not necessarily the being involved, it is pointing the way ahead. It reminds everyone of the great vision that you're working towards, such timing with, of course, Neptune ingressing into Aries on Sunday. And with Neptune being in, it has moved into the self center a little bit ago, right? This is where of your love and direction. And that into gate 25, that gate of innocence. And that is also where Mercury is currently, where the moon is currently. The moon will move through rather quickly, but it's so much in this whole experience in returning to the innocence within you, meaning like that pure divine essence, that God soul intelligence within you, and for that to begin, right, a return. So it's like a return and becoming simultaneously. And we also have Saturn that moved into the emotions center, the solar plexus, into gate 36, where the North Node has been. And Saturn making that sextile to Uranus this is all really bringing energy up for breakthrough, right? Breakthrough within our patterning, because that gate 36 is crisis resolution. You're always going to attract situations, experiences that test your resolve. And it's when you can't, right, not be so restrictive and hanging on tight and you're trying to paddle upstream or be in this resistance phase, like bracing in fear, right, of the unknown, but shifting that to, right, curiosity, or okay, I'm gonna go with the flow of the energy in this river. And you then really begin to tap into, right, now your creativity is activated. Those codes within you are activated to respond and create new and different ways. You're ready to embrace the experience, right? It's almost a transcendence of the emotions, right? To where it can become more of a high, in where you are just like really in the flow and you aren't feeling that restriction, and you are fueled by your divine power and creativity, and you will always come through. Then you're operating truly from your design, right? Your strategy and authority. So all of these, transits and connections are assisting in this whole process. And as I talked about last time, we're going through the death and entering the rebirth, right? Kind of all happening simultaneously. And it's really leading, there's breakthroughs happening, there's aha moments, there's perception shifts into seeing different potentialities, different points of view, right? And how we are getting more centered. It looks like an inward spiral as I see the energy in returning to that source point within you, that 0 point. And a reorganization is happening, especially with Saturn sextile Uranus. That's happening. A reorganization within your field and your energy body, and then it's transmitting through your physical body, your cellular structure, right? And then how it continues to make its way through your physicality, your physical structure into the physical manifestation, how that will get expressed. So there's lots of deep internal conversation or communication happening within you, and then perceive how that is being expressed around you in your environment. That's going to tell you, if you're paying attention to what is exactly taking place in your environment, that is happening internally somewhere, and it can direct you to where there can be a disruptive pattern, or one that is needing to be disrupted in order to change that. So you are continuing to return to your source point, that God intelligence within your soul, and being very consciously aligned with that. So perhaps, going to this video on YouTube, Inner Lotus music, listening to 963 hertz I would also listen to 852 hertz, as that is a return to spiritual or divine order. And so, and I believe that does correspond to the third eye. And that so much will be happening here, because then it's going to, all of that happening energetically, how that is going to transmit into the brain and the neural pathways, especially as you work on these patterns and they're being disrupted, right? And this will go into your thought patterns, your beliefs, and working and changing those. And a lot of them could be, whether they were formed, right, rooted in fear, they were projected into your subconscious based on your environment. Doesn't mean it was necessarily your belief in the first place, but built a system around that. So a lot of that is going to be illuminated for you with this new moon solar eclipse this weekend. Major shifts happening. And so I'm going to see if I can tune in and get any other information for you about this energy. Just cover the next few days. So your path is being illuminated, but to be patient, as it is not a time of manifestation quite yet. This alchemization that is taking place is very important. It is an integral part of your journey in order for the goal or the desire to experience full, permanent manifestation of it. So you need to allow and trust the process of what is taking place with this energy and what is coming up for you. And you will continue to move forward on the illuminated path. I mean, use your internal compass, your soul GPS. Allow to lead the way and be paying attention to how that is within you, responding to whether it's an external stimuli or an opportunity to begin to really operate from that God soul intelligence within you. Let's see what essential oils will be helpful for us through this energy over the next few days. We have cassia. I love that because this is the oil of self-assurance. This is about confidence, and which is, right, that's very Aries, and having the confidence within you, right? Trusting yourself and taking those steps, right? But like I said, this isn't full manifestation energy, but this is even just in the acknowledgement of these different things that show up, and you are saying yes to alchemizing these things and in doing the work and the alignment. That is work, that is process in being confident. And that's going to show, and it's going to build your confidence. You are, in a sense, being your own leader, and you are leading by example by doing that. Oh, I knew it. I knew Arbor Vitae was going to come out. So being in the divine flow, right? The oil of divine grace and flow, and keeping that that flow open and going. Do have the Gateway of Light Activation Oracle that felt appropriate for this energy. That will be very activating, and we can experience that in different ways. So, Sword of Light, divine protection, cords cut, breakthrough energy. So, just like I talked about, right, with the planetary positionings that we have, there is that breakthrough, especially Saturn sextile Uranus. This is, and you're following, right, that light and truth that emanates from you, and you are cutting, you know, even just alchemizing the patterns, that is cutting the energetic cords that with all things that are, that correlate to that pattern. And as I said, that is going to be connected to that version of you, that timeline, etc., etc. And you can, I would even use a visualization, if that works for you, of the sword. I often, especially when I am consciously cutting cords, and I call on Archangel Michael, and I see his sword of truth and light severing that energy cord. And then we have the central sun, which is perfect, being the solar eclipse, abundance, downloads, regeneration, success, and Shambhala initiations. It's definitely an initiatory time, and trusting in the process, Dharma. So all of this being very much a journey of the soul. It's like a gateway opening to a return to your soul's blueprint, its essence, and working in the emergence. Like literally, this is, especially in the with Neptune ingressing into Aries, with this energy of dreaming yourself into this new realization, this new vision, and creating from that, right? And moving forward. It is very much moving forward in a spiritually aligned way. Anything that is not going to move forward. That is part of the death of the old. Moving forward is very much following the God within you and that true connection to Source, the all that is. I think I will leave it there, and I hope you all have the most perfect and soul aligned experience. Everyone's is going to be different. Of course, we all have the commonalities of all the symptoms that's happening, but the future is very bright. And when you are operating out of soul alignment, and every action is truly inspired from that God intelligence within you, only you will experience the highest potential. So I'm sending you lots of new moon eclipse blessings, and I'll see you back here after the weekend.